Hey everyone, so we are on our way to go see Shin Godzilla. In case you're wondering who this gentleman, this handsome gentleman sitting right here next to me is, this is James. This is James Griffiths. He's the one he's part of Toy Bounty Hunters. He's the one who edits our videos. And we decided that we would chronicle our adventure to go watch Shin Godzilla.
Yes.
And there's somebody walking by. She was lumbering by.
She looked pretty pissed off, too.
Yeah, she looked mad. I'm glad she didn't make eye contact.
4 out of 5. I'm going to get my hopes way up high, so that way I have really far to fall. When I go into a movie, I either want to be amazed or really disappointed. Nowhere in between.
That's like me, too. I feel like that, too. Like, when it comes to
never mediocre.
Yeah, exactly. Never middle of the road. It's either got to be really bad or really good, or it's got to be really bad in a good way.
I want it to hurt me or lift me up.
This hurts my soul.
Perfect.
Godzilla, why? All right, well, I'm going to start driving now because we're going to head to the theater.
Cool.
But we'll be back.
See you guys.
Okay, so we just reached the theater. We're about to go in and get our tickets and make this happen.
Yes.
So this is going to be the last part of this video up until the point where the movie is over. Then we're going to go back to my place and then talk about it more in depth. So we'll see you guys in a couple hours. Okay, so we just got back from the theater. We just got back from watching Shin Godzilla on the big screen.
Yep.
And we have a couple thoughts regarding this movie. So this will be kind of somewhat of a mini review, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say, right? I mean, because I would probably watch it a little bit more before giving it just a full-on review. But
I don't know if I can watch it again, though. It dropped me hard.
yeah, it was...
My prediction was off. 4 stars. -4 stars. No, I'd give it like... I mean, ratings are kind of stupid anyways, but I guess I just didn't like it very much at all.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, but I will say...
I think you liked it a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, I did probably like it a little bit more than you did, and I did like it a bit more than 2014.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is leaps and bounds better than 2014. Like some people have made it out to be.
2014 had like a few of those moments that were like really cool, and this one, Shin Godzilla, had just one moment that was really...
Oh, and just before we go on, there will be spoilers in this video. So if you don't want to know anything about this movie, stop right now. But if you don't mind spoilers, we will have spoilers in this review. So just a heads up. Yeah. Just a heads up. But go ahead, continue, because you were about to get into it. Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla had one really good moment, and after that, I think we were talking about it earlier. We said that basically it's just where he destroys Tokyo, or a part of Tokyo, and that should have been the end.
Yeah.
At the end, because it was just after that, he just kind of attacks it again, and then they freeze him up, and that's it, you know, and it's. And the majority of the movie is just like the politics behind disaster relief.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the one thing about this movie. For y'all that are gonna go watch it, or that intend to go watch it, it is a very wordy movie. There is a lot of talking in this movie. A lot. Like, it felt like there was way more dialogue in this movie than there was in 2014.
Oh yeah.
Way more. Yeah. There was just way more dialogue, and it just.
I got a headache just watching it, and not to like poop on it or anything, because like maybe that's really interesting to some people. For me, it wasn't. But you know, I was just it's just so much words.
Yeah.
And it's all like techno battle. Well, that's not all techno battle, but it's just all politics. Like we have to get you know, these guys to sign off on this and this to okay this until we can attack this. Can we attack this? Prime Minister, are you okay? Okay, let's go. You know, it's just tons of too many of those moments where it was just like streams of dialogue and nothing happening.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of back and forth, and that's what I didn't like either with it, because it's just like, because I could tell what they were trying to do with the movie. They were trying to show you kind of more or less the step by step, you know, litigation process that they go to. This, you know, to get things done within a disaster like this, and all the bureaucratic nonsense that these agencies have to put up with from one another, you know, and all the infighting that's there.
So that was like it seemed pretty realistic. Like, oh man, it's nice to see that side of it, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I see why they leave this out.
Exactly.
Of movies, though, because it's just like, can he just blow some people up now? And
Yep, because they kept going back. It was one after the other, like he was saying, with all the bureaucratic babble in the movie, and I thought that kind of really took away from it. I mean, again, I could understand what I could kind of see, I guess, what they were trying to go for in this. They're obviously making a statement about it in this movie.
Maybe some people really love that. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Maybe some people really like that. I didn't really care for that, and I did like the fact that they were going for a dark tone with this movie.
Which they kind of ruined though in the beginning.
Yes, they did. They did.
to step backwards, we were like, oh, good, that's not Godzilla. Like when you think Godzilla, so you see the tail and you're like, oh, here comes Godzilla.
Yep.
This stuff's gonna go down, and then this thing flops up on the shore with these big bug eyes and this little like kind of cute little dog mouth that's just hanging open and looks like he's kind of smiling. He just has nubs in the front.
Yep.
And he's just kind of like pushing himself. It's like a mud skipper.
Yeah. He's
just a bleeding mud skipper dragging itself through Tokyo. And we were like relieved, like, oh, that's not Godzilla. Godzilla's gonna come and destroy this nasty bleedy thing. But then that was Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. See, the thing is, I kind of knew. I knew that he had A and B versions beforehand, and I had seen the toy, so that's what gave it away to me.
Yeah, I did.
But I'm just like, but I had, because we went to see the movie with other people, and so it wasn't just me and James. But I had seen toys for the movie before, so I knew about the bug eyes and stuff, but I didn't think it was that bad. Like when I saw it, I was like, well, maybe the toy's exaggerating how cartoony it actually looks.
Because sometimes, I mean, a lot of times it happens in toys. The toys always look crappier than the thing.
Yeah.
But this thing looked like a bleedy, squeaky toy.
Yeah, it did. So it really did, and that kind of threw me off because.
So if they wanted to set a tone of horror and dread, like they didn't set it with that.
Yeah.
That made everyone was laughing.
Yeah, I laughed about it because I was just like, again, I'm like, all right, well, maybe the toy is making it look the vinyl is making it look much goofier than what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't. It was just like, oh wow, it really does look that goofy.
Yeah.
So it was,
and then he, evolves pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And you're like, it still looks really stupid.
Yeah.
But okay, we're getting there, and that's when I realized, like, oh no, this is Godzilla. We're not. So what's he gonna fight?
The reality set.
Yeah, and then blah blah blah. He goes in the ocean forever, and we get like 40 more minutes of political dialogue, and then he comes back, and when he comes back, then it's the Godzilla from the trailers we've all seen.
Yeah.
Which he looks really menacing and interesting. And just glowing and stuff, so that was cool. But I was like, maybe we should have just started off with this and just ignored the whole evolution thing. But maybe it's something they need for later for sequels or something. Who knows? But that was funny.
It was a funny way to start it off. I mean, I didn't mind the whole evolution process of it because it's something different.
It's an interesting idea. I don't want to knock the idea at all. It was just like the execution. Like they could have made that larva form
much
more
cooler,
menacing and scary looking rather than just like this. The only threatening thing about this is that it's knocking over some buildings.
Yeah, and some
accidentally.
Cars.
Yeah,
and some cars.
But other than that, it's just like, I don't know, just bomb it.
Yeah, and it was so funny when it appeared when his A form appeared because he was just like,
yeah.
Hey guys, it's Godzilla.
And the part, and when he gets up on a building and you see his little nubs.
Oh my gosh, and they were wiggling. Yeah.
He's just wiggling like that.
He was oscillating his nubs.
Yeah. Stop oscillating.
Just stop it. Stop it. Stop the spinning.
But after all that, and then again, just so much dialogue, and then when we finally got, it was just a night scene. And he just destroys part of the city, and the way they did his fire breath was really cool. Like it's kind of like powering up a torch. So, it's like flame and then like more pressure, and then until it was like into a tight beam, and then he's just destroying.
Until it gets like more precise. Where it thins
it's like
out.
a laser almost at that point. But so I really liked how they did that. But that was it. Like that was the big scene, and after that they're like, we have to stop him. And
then he stayed in like this frozen state where I guess he was kind of like dormant.
Yeah,
he went dormant again to like recharge, where he just stayed locked in place, and it was just like I don't think he closed his eyes either. He was just like locked in place, he was just like dormant in place.
And he wasn't glowing anymore.
Yeah, I guess he was recharging from all the energy he had used. But the thing is, that night scene was probably the coolest. It was my favorite scene in the movie. And
it was amazing. Yeah,
and it was the one I think we talked about this, that was the one that we thought should have been at the end of the movie because it seemed like
he went like all out, and so like at the end of the movie they're like, oh, keep shooting missiles at him, and he'll keep using his lasers to destroy everything, and it'll like tire him out. But he tired himself out at the end of that amazing scene at night. So it's like, oh, if they would have they could have just had that happen at night, and then with that, and then done their weird thing with stopping him.
Yeah, it's like he blew his wad completely halfway through the movie, and then towards the end, it's just like the final climactic battle between him and the humans didn't seem as climactic because he had already shown all his cards. He already shown what he could do. The only thing he did different that he didn't do in that night scene was the tail. Yeah. But even then, it didn't feel as special, especially in that scene.
Yeah, during the day, because and we were talking about this earlier. Like Japan's like CG and special effects are getting. I think they're getting really good. They're catching up, but they're still not there yet. So they need to treat like stuff like this like how we did movies in like the 90s. Whereas like when there's a monster, it was kind of like in the dark. Yeah. So your imagination helps. Complete that picture, which makes it kind of more interesting for everyone, and everybody like knows that by now. Yeah. But this attack was during the day, so it left nothing to the imagination. Whereas the nighttime attack was so much. He just looked so scary.
Well, not just that, and then you see just the city in flames.
Yeah.
It seems more.
So dramatic.
Yeah, it's just cool. There's just something more. More powerful about seeing the scene, like the city burn at night. It just leaves a better. Yeah. It leaves more of an impression of something like real devastation happened here.
Would have liked that for the end to walk away with that, but so not having that at the end was kind of odd, and just again the daytime it's less dramatic, and you just see like kind of how bad the effects really do look. Yeah. And then. We were making fun of it earlier because their plan was like, well, let's drop all these buildings and ram his feet with trains full of bombs. Yep. And we were joking like Kevin McAllister from Home Alone like flew over there and helped them devise their battle plans because it seemed like something from Home Alone. Yeah. Just drop this building, then ram a train into his foot, and and then drop another building.
All right, here's the plan. Did you make this with crayon?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it.
And then the whole thing with like, basically, a lot of Godzilla movies deal with like freezing him. Yes. I feel like so. This was no different, but it was like more like a blood coagulant they're using to freeze him, but they have to shoot it down his throat, which was hilarious because that was the whole plan. Was like knock him over with the buildings, and then we'll have all these trucks with these weird like. Big extended straws just go into his mouth and just pray that he swallows.
Yeah, I guess that was it. Or maybe it was a thing. See, because that's the thing too. I thought maybe it was a thing like they were just these high concentration beams that they just shoot down his thing. That's the only thing. Even though they didn't say that, I'd like to think that's what it was.
Your mind was trying
to make sense.
Yeah, your brain's trying to like rationalize what the hell you're actually looking at. Yeah. Like, these must be really high-powered straws. They're forcing it down his esophageal passageway. Yeah. That's... But in all reality, it probably just no one gave a shit.
Yeah. See, all in all, what I think of the movie, I mean, it was a good movie, but it's not. It was a decent movie, enough movie. It was good, but it was not great.
It wasn't bad. Like
Yeah,
I'm glad they made it. I hope they make more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it just wasn't. Like I said, this might be way more interesting to other people. You know, I can only speak for myself. Like I was just bored out of my mind, like waiting to leave the theater, especially when you know like the best scene is kind of over.
Yeah.
With the attack, you're like, oh, I think that was it.
Yeah. See, the one thing that I liked about this one, as opposed to 2014 Godzilla, is that I actually cared about what these characters were doing. Like 2014 Godzilla, I absolutely did not care at all after Bryan Cranston's character died. I did not care about what any of those characters were doing. I didn't care about any of those characters. At least with these characters, even though it was like real wordy and there was a lot of talking, I at least cared about what they were doing.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted them to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were all likable. I just after Cranston's character died in the other Godzilla movie, I was just like, well, I hope they show me more Godzilla, otherwise there's no reason to watch.
Exactly, that's how I felt too. So what did you think about, what was the girl's name, Kyosko? Did she convince you that she was American? Because I was totally convinced that she was American with her horrible accent.
I'm going to be president one day. Didn't convince me. Although, like, the English wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible.
But it was like, you aren't American, so you can't be an American president.
Yeah, it's funny because...
Well, you have to at least be born there and live there for so many years, but it definitely didn't seem like... She seemed like she was born in Japan to me.
Yeah, it totally seemed like she was born in Japan, but hey, whatever. I mean, the characters, again... all jokes aside from that, they were still, again, a much more... They were at least likable, and at least you cared about what they were doing, which is what I took away from that.
Definitely. I agree. But one thing I'll say, every scene she was in, I was lost. Like, I was like, okay, I think I know what's going on now. They're trying to get America to help them, but they don't want America to take over the operation. So, and then she would show up, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening now. Mm-hmm. Did America just take over, or did we? No. Oh, we have no involvement now. What's going on? Every time she showed up in a scene, I lost. I had no idea what was going on because her dialogue was weird. Like they kept making her speak English. Mm-hmm. But then she would cut back to Japanese, and I have no idea what the point of that was, really. Like, maybe to show off that she can speak English?
Or to really emphasize... I think it was done more to emphasize on the fact that she's supposed to be American.
I see.
You know, that she's Japanese-born American, but even still, it's not... It's hard to convince... You know, it's hard to convince someone of that when... You know, but then again, we gotta keep in mind that this is made for a Japanese audience.
True. So it's probably great to them.
To them, it's probably, but obviously to us, for me, silly Americans, you know.
For me, it was just even like the English aside, like that's not what threw me off. It was just like she came in and then the plot just disintegrated for me. Yeah. I had no idea what was going on.
I know what you're saying. I know what you mean by that.
I remember I looked over at Ryan and we both kind of were like, "Whoa. What was that?" We just started laughing, like, what just happened? I don't know, I hope they go back to Godzilla. And then they do, and he's still frozen. You're like, well, alright, well, I guess I'll just wait until I can go home.
Yeah, it felt like there was a lot of, unfortunately, at that point, that's the thing, at that point in the movie where he decided to go into that, like, catatonic or dormant state that he went into, it felt like a lot of, It just, from that point on, that's when the movie really felt like it dragged.
Yeah, big time, because I thought we were getting... When he came at the nighttime scene, I was like, all right, this is the act in the movie where things really pick up and the crap really, like, just everyone starts dying and then it started dragging out again forever, and it's like, oh, I want to go home. And
then they go back to Godzilla, and still, he's just frozen in position, just locked there. And
then they fight, and then, you know, like everything we just said, they fight him, they stick the straws down his throat, they blow the coolant down there. He accepts it.
He accepts it.
He just takes it into his body. He could have just been like, and that would have been over. But he let it happen, and then he gets frozen, and then the very last shot was confusing too. You see his tail, and they're like panicking because they're like, we did it, we froze him, but like as if he's never gonna unfreeze, which he will.
Yeah.
But they're panning up his tail with the camera, and you see what looks like a bunch of like remains of like people stuck to his tail. Like they have helmets on, so it's like the workers, but then they're mutating into like then the skeletons have really long arms and they look like elongated and
they have the dorsal fins.
Yeah, the fins.
It's weird.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess, kind of hinting at like a sequel, maybe like he can mutate people now too. It's all very getting really alien-esque, which I kind of don't like. But again, I just love Godzilla, the franchise. I just want them to keep making them.
Yeah,
so do whatever you want. I just want to see them keep being made.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I didn't like either too, was the fact that the jaw at the bottom would come apart. It would unhinge at the front, which when he would do the his atomic breath, and I was just like, oh man, I don't really care for that. I would have preferred like it just unhinged down like the way a snake does, because that would have made sense.
That would have been like
because reptilian, it would have been more reptilian. But it goes down and then it like opens up like an alien almost.
Or like those stupid vampires and Blade, like how their faces just rip off.
Yes, that's exactly what it reminded me of. That's exactly what it reminded me of.
And then he was shooting, and they looked at his throat too much because his throat looked like a sexual reproductive organ of a certain type.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't know if I like all this. And his eyes look kind of goofy. But other than that, I'm glad I went to see it.
Yeah, other than that, the design was fine. His legs were really fat.
Yeah, we were laughing.
He had some really fat
Japan
legs.
was getting on our Godzilla because they're like, oh, he's so fat. And then I was like, yeah, but at least it's like distributed evenly. You got cottage cheese thighs going on with your Godzilla. That's why he can't ever move. He moves one leg and he's like, and then he has to move the other leg. He's like, God. That's why his hands are always like this, because he's just, please kill me. My thighs.
Oh man.
So because they were quite like big.
Yes, they were. They were
bigger than anything else.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of his legs was bigger than one of his legs. Like the upper part of the leg, the upper thigh was probably bigger than his entire torso, which was like ridiculous.
Which all in all, didn't really mind that much.
No, exactly.
It was a little like, I kind of was taken back because I was like, didn't they make fun of us
for that?
A lot for that, and then they did it.
Yep, and they went one step further.
Yeah.
See, all in all, I don't think, like I was saying before, I don't think it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. It's an okay movie. It's definitely, like, there's things to like about this movie. Like, for anybody that's looking to watch this movie and want a serious Japanese Godzilla movie, they did a good job there, because this movie is very serious. There's no...
Except for the beginning.
Yeah, except for, when he first shows up.
I literally that's thought it was a comedy at first.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, what?
But the movie, for the most part, has a serious tone to it. It definitely was definitely trying to go back to that horror vibe that you got with the 1954 Godzilla,
which is really cool to like have that back in it instead of just kind of like just the gimmicky kind of stuff they do later, which I still love. Yeah, which is still fine. But with this one, they were going back to that. They were also going back to trying to, like with the 1954 Godzilla, obviously they're making a statement about nuclear warfare and stuff. Obviously Godzilla was a metaphor for that, and it's like with this one they're doing that too. They're going back to just making, not really so much as using a metaphor, but really focusing on what you said, which is like the response to the disaster relief and stuff like that. Is really seemed to be more of the focus that they were making in this movie. It was a big. I was shocked at how much of a focus that was. Just every little, like, they're showing you every little detail of like what happens. Yeah, like behind the scenes of getting like FEMA out there or whatever. You know? So I feel like anyone who works in that sector, would probably really like this movie, and probably find a million things wrong with it too.
Yeah, exactly.
But like me being completely ignorant to it, I was just like, gosh, this must be exactly how the system works. It's terrible. But who knows?
But exactly, but obviously it's not what we cared about. I mean, I
just want to see Godzilla.
Exactly. let them fight. No, with this one though, you definitely get a lot more of Godzilla than in 2014. Unfortunately though, there's a good portion of that where it's just Godzilla like this, stuck in that, and that to me was kind of an unfortunate thing.
We said what it was like. We got 8 minutes of Godzilla in the 2014 one. We got about 10, 11 minutes of Godzilla in this one. So it's like, how about 30, 40 minutes of Godzilla just destroying crap? We would all like. Cool. Oh, one thing I never mentioned, but I love the soundtrack to this movie.
Oh yeah,
they nailed
the score was fantastic.
The old score. They like brought it back in this one, so I was like,
and it seemed to fit. That's the thing.
And
it was the really classic. And it was like the old like 54 sounding.
Yeah,
like it wasn't.
They went all the way back.
Yeah, it wasn't like modern sounding, but it fit.
Oh yeah,
it fit for it, and just like
it was good. It felt good to see him and then hear that music again. That was really neat.
Yeah, all the music that they chose for this movie, I thought fit for the scenes that they used it, and even the rock music that they put in there. You remember that?
It was kind of out of place, but it still worked pretty well.
That's the thing. It was kind of weird because it was like I felt that's kind of weird. It's just like because they're going from this
all this classical,
this orchestrated soundtrack. All of a sudden, you got this thrown in there.
Yeah,
and it was like it seems out of place, but it works for the scene. It's just like, it actually kind of works for it. So there's things to like about this movie for people that want to see something that's more horror. They definitely were focusing on more of the horrific monster aspect of Godzilla in this movie, and the special effects, although
there's moments where they shine.
They do shine. Yeah, there's moments where they do shine, but you can still tell, like James was saying earlier, that Japan still has a way to go in terms of their CG work. But this is quite a step up from other things I've seen.
Definitely. I think they're doing great. Yeah. I just like even we need to follow that rule still. Like here in America, like we use CG a bit too much, or maybe it's not that we use it too much, but maybe it's just misused.
Yeah.
Like I like not seeing the whole monster. Mm-hmm. It's scary. Yep. So I think that's why that night scene was just like absolutely perfect, and the day scene was just like, ugh, because you could really like see. You
could see that the flaws were more apparent.
It's just too much. Scene. So if they would have stick to that rule of thumb, just like conceal a little bit more. It's like that's why when stuff goes down and there's a lot of CG, it's like, oh, let's make it rain. So that helps like kind of cover. So then make it darker, and then use weird lighting and it kind of helps cover stuff up. So. But I am hopeful that they'll do like another one and he'll actually have like a monster to fight.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm hoping, that they capitalize on the success of this one, because it's doing really well in Japan. I'm sure it's going to do pretty. There was a lot more people in the theater than I thought there was going to be.
That was a pretty packed theater.
Yeah. So because the thing is, when we initially were heading to the theater and we were like, we didn't really, at least when we had initially entered, I mean, obviously it's a Tuesday, so I mean it's going to be a slower day, but the thing was, it didn't feel like because remember, I didn't see any posters for this out in the lobby or anything. I didn't see any of the like stands or anything like that.
It wasn't advertised.
There was anything,
really.
There was nothing to advertise for it. So like when we were heading to the theaters, it's like, oh man, there maybe not a lot of people know about it, and maybe but it was actually a pretty packed theater.
So I was happy.
So once we went in there, so I'm thinking it'll do well with its limited release over here. It'll do well enough here too that still will. Obviously, it's doing great in Japan, so I'm pretty sure they're already locked to do another one, regardless of how it would have done here.
Yeah, I think.
But I mean, the fact that I'm sure it'll do well enough here, though, also to just help that.
Yeah, exactly.
So. But I think we pretty much covered all the bases. I mean, obviously the things I guess bottom lining it, the things I disliked the most was way too much dialogue. There was way too much talking, and that to me really slowed the pace of the movie down a lot. I do still like it a little bit more than 2014, but not by that much. Maybe it's just a step up more. Like if you put these two movies in front of me, I'll probably watch Shin Godzilla again before I watch 2014 again, only because of the fact that, again, I actually cared more about what these characters are doing. That's really what it actually came down to. And the special effects works, was okay. I did like some of the things they did. Some of the things they could have done a little bit better. I thought the placement of some of the the special effects. Like the night scene really should have, in my opinion, really should have been the last. It really should have been the last scene of the movie because it seemed more poignant.
Yeah.
To put it at the end, just because.
Because he went all.
He showed up.
out.
Yeah, he showed all the coolest tricks seemed to be shown at that point.
Yeah, minus the tail thing, which we don't.
It seems like an afterthought.
He didn't even need to. We don't need that.
Yeah, and even then, yeah, it just doesn't seem necessary. At that point, it seemed unnecessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you had already seen because to me the dorsal fin thing was cooler. You know what I mean? Than the tail thing. And the thing is, it would have been cool for him just to come and attack and just use his atomic breath, and then have the other things that he could do be showcased at the very end, because it's just like, oh well, we know he's gonna do that, and then that catches you completely by surprise.
Stuff,
whoa!
Yeah.
Then it's more of a surprise. By them putting it like halfway through the movie, it kind of took away from it, because it's like, okay, now we know all he's capable of. So when the tail thing happens, it doesn't seem as significant.
Yeah.
Even though it's the last thing that's revealed that he can do.
It was interesting.
It was
Yeah,
interesting.
it was just like, man, but again, that night scene was so cool. If that would have been like the big payoff for sitting through all the
other stuff,
political babble, then that would have been great. But yeah, I think all in all, I'm glad they made the movie. It was fun, sort of, to watch.
Yeah,
and,
sort of.
I think some other people might enjoy it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I agree. I think people like it more than I do. All in all, I don't. Again, not a bad movie, and I don't even think, and even for those of you that'll hear me speak about 2014, I don't think 2014 is a bad movie by any stretch either, and I don't think I've ever gone as far as to say that. I just don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. That's just my opinion. I just, because there was a lot of, for me, largely it's boring. I mean, like I said, you guys can hear my thoughts about it. Link in the description below on the Monstrosities of Laga Tokusatsu podcast that I did with my good friend Matt Burkett. You should check out his channel if you're into kaiju especially, and tokusatsu. Puts out some great videos and reviews. Check out his channel. But I think we've pretty much covered all we could say about this movie. I hope it wasn't too long-winded for you guys. But yeah, that's what we think of Shin Godzilla. We got to see it. Definitely, it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Not sure how much replay value it has, though. I mean, it probably to me has as much replay value as 2014. That it's a good movie to watch every once in a blue moon. But I don't like when it comes out on DVD over here. I can't. I'll eventually get it at some point, but it's not one that I can see myself watching.
I'd buy
a lot.
Yeah, just to support the.
Yeah, and for it to be part of the collection and stuff.
Yeah, but I can't sit through all that again.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you'll probably fast forward through just to get to those scenes that you really like in it.
Yeah,
that's what I could see for it.
Skip to the nighttime scene and then just turn the power off when it's done. So
that is it. Yep. That is our thoughts on Godzilla, our mini kind of review here, I guess, on Godzilla, Shin Godzilla. Let us know what you guys think, if you guys have seen it or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Let us know in the comment section below, and until next time, as always, you know how it goes. The hunt continues.